You said it been using for the um, authentication, right? What type of authentication you are working on?
So in my previous project, we were using OAuth. So it was developed in 2017, I think. So my boss asked me to create a POC for with the latest tech stack. So I did that one.
Okay. Could you please tell me how are you done that work configuration?
So earlier, what used to happen is like we need to add separate security jar and then separate authorization server jar. But now, due to those issues, Spring people have created a single jar which will have all the Spring security features and Spring server that authentication server level jars. So we need to add that jar and we will override we will create a configuration class and override few beans, which will tell how we can handle our authorization server. So we were using various tokens like uh, refresh token, then
Okay.
authorization token, implicit token.
I have five microservices, right?
Mm.
In my application, five microservices. Can I
Okay.
write this logic in every microservices, or is there any other place?
Which logic?
Authentication logic. Where should I write?
So in that case, we can use API gateway. It's like a design pattern.
What is the API gateway?
So it provides a single entry point for lot of for all the services are behind that one service. So we can use that for authentication, authorization, then centralized login, rate limit, throttling, all those features we
What is
can
the
use.
difference between authentication and authorization? Or both are same?
So no. So authentication is like when we authentication is like when we add username and password to get into the system, and authorization is like we have multiple modules, and based on our that logged in user role, which module you can access, that is authorization.
Mm. So you worked on JPA, I think, right? JPA and
Yes,
Hibernate.
both.
So I have one table in my database. Just tell me the flow. How can I make it the object of the database? And from the table, I have to get the data, all the data. There are 100 records are there. I want to get all the data. How many
Using J.
classes need to be created? How many interfaces required? Just tell me the please.
So first we will have to create an entity mapping to that database table. Okay,
Okay.
then we will have to create a controller. So
Mm.
that controller will be talking to service, which will internal talk to that repository. So controller and service are classes, and repository can be interfaced, which will extend predefined repositories like JPA or CRUD repository depending on the requirements. And so when the request comes to the controller, it will go to service. Then service will call the JPA method, whichever find all, find one, whatever. Then it will get the data from the database, and in service layer we can do any processing if we want to do for the data, and then it will give back to the controller. So for entity class, there is only two requirements: at entity annotation and at ID annotation.
How can I handle pagination in
So
JPA?
pagination can be handled by in the repository class. We extend pagination and sorting repository, or JPA repository also is a child class of pagination and sorting. So we get that features with that. by default.
What is the circuit breaker?
So circuit breaker is also a design pattern. So suppose services are talking to each other and one service failed. So circuit breaker is used to graciously handle that error. Like when we make a payment in any application like Swiggy or Zomato, we will sometimes see that this bank is not failing. This bank is transaction is failing again and again. So they will provide a message to the user so they can they can use some other way to pay. So there are three types: open, close, and half open. So open means it is blocked entirely, and close means it is open, and half open means it has failed previously, but it will send one request to check if it is up and running so that normal flow can be restored.
What is the discovery server?
Sorry.
What is the discovery server?
So discovery server, sir. So when we have a lot of uh, microservices which have a lot of instances, so we use service discovery to maintain all those instances and services. So it will be uh, it will create a database where it will have all those instances uh, added, and
Who will be creating the instances in the discovery server?
so we can use Netflix or um, Eureka server. We can
No,
add
I'm
that.
not talking about the server. The instance, right? Have 10 microservices. One microservice contains 5 instance.
Okay.
Likewise, the 10 microservices contains 10 instance, right?
Mhm.
These instance we will be creating.
So it will be created by the host, like AWS or DigitalOcean. So we will, at the time of getting the uh, server, we will have to tell them that how many instances we want. So we can use
Which cloud environment you are working? AWS or Azure or the PCF?
so professionally, I have not worked with. I have tried to do some project that Udemy classes, and one course I took.
Then now you
So
are implementing microservices. Your microservices implementation need to be configured in the discovery server. Are you doing that way or only implementing microservice level and pushing and pulling? That's it.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
after implementing those microservices, are going to configure in the discovery server also.
No,
Which
no,
work you are working here?
I have not done any
Hmm.
configuration of this microservices.
Okay. You said with 9 years experience, right? Okay.
Yes.
You worked on the JDB's SQL scripts also.
Sorry.
SQL Server scripts. Any SQL scripts. Do, uh,
I
do
have
you know how to
written.
write all?
Yeah, yeah. Queries I have written. I can troubleshoot queries if anything is wrong.
How many index will provide in a single table? Index.
I'm not sure.
Okay. If I create a primary key in my table, I
Okay.
need multiple primary keys. I want to create multiple primary keys in my table. Can I do that?
Like composite.
What is the composite?
So it's a combination. So suppose there are two columns, and instead of creating a dedicated column for primary key, we can combine those two columns to create a primary key.
Combined primary keys or combined other keys as like unique key or foreign keys.
A unique key. So that is up to us. We have to decide which combination of which two columns can be unique.
Okay. What is the unique key?
Unique key is like it cannot be duplicated. It should be for one record. It should be
A primary key also can't provide a duplication, right? What is the difference between unique key and primary key?
mm, not sure.
How can I get second salary from the database? You can take any database like SQL Server, Oracle, or Postgre, any other database. Just tell me the. How can I fetch
So
second salary of month?
select top one from employee where employee ID.
No. When you write the script, it should be work for all database. Because you are in Hibernate, right? It is a relation database, right? Object based, both Hibernate and JPA. When I write something, it should be work any other database also.
So
Likewise, you have to write the script.
like HQL, I have to write.
Yeah. Top is which database? You said like top, right?
Top is I have used Postgres mostly. So Postgres
So
is
in the Postgre, top is there.
Postgres or SQL Server. Postgres, it's there.
No, which database you worked on, or you should tell me that. Which
Postgres,
database you worked on?
SQL Server and Postgres.
The top, which database belongs to that? Top.
Postgres.
Are you sure?
Not 100%, but Postgres or SQL Server only.
Okay, now tell me how can I fetch second highest solid rate?
Like for with a normal SQL, right?
You can write any, yeah, normal SQL.
Okay. So select
Don't take any top limit. Don't write it. Just write it. You should work for all the database. What is the self join?
so uh, subjoin is like when we join a column table with itself.
We can simply create object, right? Then when should we use the self join? I can go with single table, right?
Mm.
Why should I use the self join? When should we use the self join?
Cell join, I am not sure.
What is the difference between union and union?
So union all uh,
Okay, you worked on any UI language like Angular.
no front end. We were not having front end.
Okay, you are a backend developer, right?
Yeah.
So you haven't worked on any test case
No.
like as James or BDD test cases, not in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other technology do you have in your end like Kubernetes?
Kubernetes. I have started some courses. Kubernetes and Docker. It's
Mhm.
Spring Cloud, but not professionally.
So are you independent developer or are you Any
So
team leading something?
yeah, I was a team lead in the last 6 months in the previous organization.
How many head counts in your team?
10 developers, and
Which methodology are you working on?
so it was back in October. So uh,
Methodology, Agile or some other Waterfall, some other methodology.
Agile only. So we will have stand-up meetings every day.
What is the sprint call? How many days the sprint?
Two
Sprint.
weeks. 2 weeks we have.
Okay. The repository, which repository you are working on?
Both I have worked with Git and CNS also.
Git and CMS.
Tortoise is there.
What is Git? Okay. What is the future branch?
Future branch.
Uh,
Mm, I don't know.
okay. Yeah, right. I have done my side. Do you have any question?
No.
No?
No.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
My
you very much.
HR will get back to you.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Right. Thanks for joining.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
Bye.
No problem. Bye bye.